following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. I am back with Marty Rose and Robert Cole. New York Mets baseball in the zone. How are you guys? Start with you, Robert. It's kind of a bittersweet time to be talking baseball because there is no baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a strange time. I mean, the three of us are all similar ages, and we've been through, a number of things. Korean War, Vietnam War, Kennedy assassination, Martin Luther King assassination, the Cuban Missile Crisis, 9/11, and, this. And this is kind of different.
Yeah. Marty, just a few thoughts. There's not much to say, really. But.
Yeah, no, but it's not that it's just no baseball. There's nothing. Zero. I mean, this would be the time we'd all be watching college hoops and checking our brackets and all that stuff. And as spring training progressed, getting close to opening day, a little excitement. But this COVID-19 virus has changed the world and everybody's life, including, from what I saw on the news today, Ralph, out in Alameda, you can't even go out except to go to the grocery store. Is that true?
They're advising shutting down. They got 8 firemen, and that is a bad demographic to be coming down with a disease that's spreadable naturally. So,
yeah.
I'm worried. In a sense, I'm protected in a house with a backyard that I could walk around in, so that it's not like I'm in an apartment that I see no light or anything. You know what I mean? I could exercise simply by walking around the backyard fast and many times, but at least I'm getting some movement, and I don't know. I'm trying to look at this thing with a positive attitude, but it's already screwed up my spring travel plans back east, and for 2 reasons. I'm not going to get on a Greyhound bus that could, or a plane. And I don't fly anyway, but the point is, I wouldn't feel safe going through towns. I wouldn't feel safe if I got sick on the road. What do you do? Where do you go? The reports of how this country is so ill-prepared, without ventilators, without beds, with this, that, and the other thing. Why don't they just call out the National Guard or the Army, the guys that make things, and manufacture some ventilators? Get together. And then who's going to run the tests? How many people are qualified to give these tests?
And there's still not enough tests to go around, so
right.
That's another problem.
Right. And the more people they test, obviously there's going to be more people come up positive. And it's just uncharted waters for us as a society.
Yeah, really bad. No question. All I do is go to the store. I went to the store today, stayed in the rest of the day, and tomorrow St. Patrick's Day, we're going over to our daughter's and, having some corned beef and cabbage anyway. It's that day. But, it's just a small group of us, and then I'm just going back home. The only thing I do is I see the kids, go to the store. Now I got a pool right across the street, which we did yesterday and Saturday.
How many people in this pool? I saw a picture of you. That's very nice, and it looks like you're having fun.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's outdoors, and we're not like right on top of each other. So, I really wasn't that concerned about it. I wouldn't be sitting next to somebody indoors if I can avoid it. That's why all these restaurants are closing down, and hoping that people call up for takeout orders. Because a lot of places, even fast food places, are like not letting you in. You just have to do the drive-through, and that's it. So
and if you happen to be walking, like one of my things that I do 2 or 3 times a week, I walk over to McDonald's and I get a mocha frappe. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go in that place now for all the tea in China. Give me a mocha frappe and breathe on it. You want a lid on that to keep the coronavirus in? No. Just leave it open, thanks, and maybe it'll evaporate. I have a hunch it'll evaporate.
Oh boy.
I was quoting our great president, Hunchmaker.
Oh yeah.
He had a hunch that everything's going to be okay. Scary, but you know who's impressed me? And then I'll let you guys talk.
Yeah, the vice president.
Governor Cuomo of New York. Did you happen to hear him speak on this subject today on CNN?
I did hear him, and he actually was the first one to call out the National Guard a few days ago.
Yeah.
In I think it was New Rochelle, which was a large concentration of infected people. He called out the National Guard like last week, and I'm sure he was the first one to do that. But he's doing whatever he can do, he's doing it. Yeah.
He impresses me as a leader. His dad impressed me as a leader, and I remember how close he came to considering the nomination. And there were all kinds of rumors about skeletons in his closet, this, that, and the other thing, ties with the mob, whatever it was. He never got to run. Yeah. And I think that was around Carter's time. And Carter proved to be somewhat ineffective.
Yeah.
Not to understate it.
Well, unfortunately, if you got people that don't like you and you got an Italian last name, stuff starts coming out, whether it's true or not.
Right.
So.
Right.
What are you going to do?
But that was the reason given. I remember back then. I liked his dad. I like him, and I like his brother as a CNN commentator.
Chris.
All very bright, charismatic people. So.
Yeah.
And we got Biden.
Yeah.
So how has it come to this? It's another story for another show. Robert, hear your voice a little bit before we get to Mets' first baseman of the past and the present.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of stuff that came upon everybody very quickly, but at the same time, we had our leader denying that it was going to affect anybody and that it was going to be, rather mild. And now all of a sudden he's saying we may be affected by it until July or August. So, that's something that you have to kind of look at. It's just a lot of gibberish coming from the top. I've been more listening to, Florida state governor than I have been, the stuff coming out of Washington, because that's what affects us the most.
Yeah.
Right. We do have our primary tomorrow, and it is still on. The governor did say that. So even though we had like 2 weeks of early voting, and a lot of people already voted, but tomorrow is the actual Florida primary.
An absolute must for Bernie.
Yeah, if he's going to have a chance at all, right?
Exactly. I frankly don't think he does have a chance, and I, as a Democrat or someone who wants to see Trump defeated, I think he's set up a lot of barriers for himself recently with stupid talk about Cuba and not backtracking on anything. Biden seems to be more electable, and at the same time, I don't really think that he can beat Trump. And at that point, we have some big problems.
I think
I kind of disagree. I think Biden can beat Trump for the simple reason I'm not a Democrat, and I will vote for Biden. And, a lot of people that I know are in the same boat as me, and they will vote for Biden and wouldn't vote for Bernie. It's
too far left for people,
Yeah. Would they? My question then: would they vote for Trump over Bernie?
No. Well, I would not, and the people I talk to would not. I mean, we would look third party again, just like we did last time. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't
vote for Trump.
Hillary.
Right.
No, I don't think that's the case at all. You're not voting for Trump. What you're doing is you're showing your dissatisfaction with the choices you have.
Right.
Now, if more people did that, rather than say, well, I'm a Democrat, it doesn't matter who's running, I'm going to vote for them, and I'm a Republican, it doesn't matter who's running, I'm voting for them. That's why we have the situation we have. And each party
I can mention the name Ralph Nader and see how far that got us.
Well, a lot of people, including myself, wasted our vote the last time on the third party, and I see what happened. So I would never do that again. Never. As long as there's a two-party system, you got to take the lesser of two evils. I'm sorry.
Well, you see, but that's the point. You've got to. It has to be better than a two-party system. And as long as
of course, but you're not going to change that by election day. No. So with that said, so you're playing with the rules of today, not the rules as you want them to be. And I couldn't agree more with Marty on that. It's nice to make a statement, but if you get a Republican like that is so close to being a Democrat running against a Democrat like Biden, who is so close to being a Republican, that's fine. But Trump is the elephant in the room. You've got to get rid of him before anything. Him left with Supreme Court decisions, let alone more judges to pick, democracy is gone as we know it.
Well, I think the biggest problem is if Biden gets the nomination, getting the Bernie backers to vote for Biden.
Oh, I don't think that any rational human being, and not casting dispersions on either side, Biden or Bernie, They're not messed up. There is no one who's going to not vote for whoever. I mean, I don't like Biden a whole lot, but I wouldn't think not a second breath before I'll vote for Trump.
This time it's definitely vote blue no matter who. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Could have been.
Yeah, well, you didn't have that.
No, you
4 years
didn't
ago.
the last time, but everybody's saw what happened in the last 4 years. Everybody's seen it.
I thought Hillary and Trump was, I'd rather have Hillary, I guess, but if Trump comes in, it'll be good drama. We didn't think it would be this crazy. We were just, and I'm guilty of that. Good drama, I kept saying along the way. It's not all that good drama when the shit hits the fan. And he was so unprepared for anything like this, and he never said that he canceled Obama's council on CBDs or whatever the hell it is. They had he eliminated the office.
Yes.
CDT.
Yeah. Yes,
Center of Disease Control. I'm told.
CDC, right.
Yeah, you put the background, Ralph?
You could just say, I'm told. How about that? I'm told.
All right, Ralph, let's move along.
All right, first baseman. Start with you, Marty.
What do you want?
Good, bad, or indifferent?
I'll give you, I think the best and the worst are very easy. After that, you got a lot of things you could talk about, I mean, you got Keith Hernandez, who, stands above all, and marvelous Marv Thornberry.
Well, before you talk about that, let's talk about the first, and it isn't Gil Hodges.
The
Robert, you remember
first baseman?
The first
game?
baseman in Met history.
It was Gil Hodges.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gil Hodges was hurt, and Jim Rufus Marshall.
On opening day?
First.
Okay, Gil Hodges started game number 1. He hit the first home run in Mets history in St. Louis. Jim Marshall started the first home game in Mets history.
Look at that, we're both right.
On a Friday. And, in fact, I was at that game, and we were all getting ready to root, and cheer for Gil Hodges when the announcer said, and playing first baseman, and then all of a sudden he says Jim Marshall, and everybody booed. And the poor guy didn't know why everybody was booing, but that's the reason.
Oh, mercy.
Yes. Wow. That's one we didn't go to. We went to me and Mert, we went to first game in 1964 at Shea. I know we were there opening day in 63 when the first pitch of the game, they hit a ground ball to third, and Charlie Neal booted it. And it's the same old Mets. But you were at the first game, home game ever.
Yeah.
What were people like? Was it exciting? A big crowd?
It was a miserable, cold, damp Friday. But those of us that were there were excited. I don't remember, maybe 15,000 thereabouts. But it was exciting. It was a good time. They played again Saturday, and then they had a doubleheader Sunday, and the second game was snowed out on Sunday.
Snowed out. Wow.
Snowed out.
Well,
we got a few other first basemen to talk about, Ralph. Actually, we had quite a few good ones. I got a lot more good ones than bad ones, when going through all of them. So.
Well, let me give. We got to talk about Ed Kranepool. Good,
sure.
bad, or indifferent. 20 years. A lot of help off the bench in later years.
Oh yeah, he did longevity for one thing. He was there a long time, but he was never like a great hitter. He was a good ball player, but if I'm going through number 1 through 10, I'm coming up with a couple of guys ahead of him. Like John Olerud,
great fielder,
Carlos Delgado, maybe even Don Clendenin. Even though he wasn't there that long, he sure showed up at the right time.
Right.
But Kranepool, no question. God, I don't know how many years he was on the team. More than 10, right? Probably
20.
20 years?
Yes.
Was it? Oh my God. Okay. Well.
I liked Milner an awful lot.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Kept Kranepool on the bench. Coming off the bench, he was much more effective, and he's a pretty good fielder. And you gotta like the nickname, the Hammer.
Yeah, he didn't have the numbers that Olerud had, or even Delgado, at the plate. But he was, he was definitely at the time, very good, no question. And you had
far and away the best, though, is Keith Hernandez. Is there anyone that comes remotely close?
Well, 11 consecutive Gold Gloves? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as number of years and the way he played, he's easily number one. Like Olerud didn't play that many years for the Mets. Carlos Delgado didn't play that many years for the Mets.
Right.
Milner didn't play that many years. So on longevity and excellence, I think Keith Hernandez far and away is number one.
Okay. From there we go to Marv. Marvelous Marv. Memories of him, Robert.
Well, first you had Gil Hodges, Jim Marshall, and Ed Boucher were the three starting first basemen for the Mets in 1962. And then they brought over Marv Throneberry. And Throneberry was, considered at one time one of the top prospects on the Yankees. And, hit a lot of home runs in the minor leagues and, stuff like that. So when he first came over, me as a kid said, oh, well, maybe we actually have a good ball player. And we did until he started playing. And then we found out what he really was.
On paper, we found out that on paper is not like on grass.
Absolutely. I think the funniest thing with him, and we talked about it on another show, but I remember I was at Jones Beach on the beach, and Marv Throneberry hits a long fly ball to the Polo Grounds, and I think it was Bob Murphy says, and Marv rounds first. He's rounding second. He's going to go for third, and he's in third with a stand-up triple. And wait a second, the ball's going to the second baseman. They're stepping on second. They've called him out. Here comes Casey. And Casey goes running out there, and the umpire says, Casey, don't even bother. He not only missed first, he missed second as well.
Cookie Lavagetto.
There you go.
I was at that game. That was a doubleheader with the Cubs.
Wow.
And Lou Brock, in one of the games, hit a home run into the center field bleachers, like the fourth or fifth guy ever to do it.
That's right.
And at that time, he weighed about 150 pounds, soaking wet. And he just turned on one. And that's one of the things I remember. I also remember the only ball I ever got in that game wasn't in the game. It was in batting practice. Joe Pignatano hit a ground ball down the third base stands, little squibber, and I picked it up. An usher said, "Let me give the ball to a kid. I'll try to get you a bat." He got me a Ken Hubbs broken bat. I've told the story before.
I remember that,
Marty,
yeah.
do you remember when I went into the Air Force, I knew my mother would throw away that bat?
Jesus.
And I gave it to your mom, thinking that she would keep it, and I could never get mad at her at all. But she threw away that bat. And
all my baseball cards, yeah.
And all you...
And I think she threw mine away as well, Marty.
Yeah.
Terrible.
They did a pretty good job, our mothers. That aside, got to give them a little credit.
Yes, they did.
Especially your mother.
Well, mine was one of the few that actually worked at that time. So she did. She worked 4 days a week, yeah, for a long time.
And she'd come home, and you guys, you and Bernie, would be getting along. You'd help with dinner because your dad worked swing shift, if I remember.
Yeah. That's right.
And she was one of those that ran the house. The kids did not run the house, and it was assumed. And I don't even remember, what did she do when she went to work?
Well, there was a pillow factory in Corona, and she ran the office there. She worked 4 days a week, took off Wednesday. Before she got married, she was a bookkeeper, so she was good at that stuff. She had a head for it, so she kind of ran the office for this pillow manufacturer. And, it was only like, a 10-minute drive in the car over there to the place. So it was very convenient for her. And, it helped out a lot because, my dad didn't make a lot of money doing what he did, So.
Well, combined income is good, and
and laying a lot of it at the track also.
Just as well.
Yeah.
And I remember this, on the real cold, snowy days, she'd drive us to school.
Well,
a few times.
Maybe to 145, but not to Newtown. We always walked to Newtown. I don't remember her driving us to Newtown. Do you?
I do.
Jeez.
I do once or twice.
Once or twice, yeah. It was
maybe
crazy.
It was 145. Just do we remember anything at this point?
We had a long walk to high school. I mean, I remember the first time it rained. I said, why don't we take the bus? So we first of all, we have to walk 4 blocks to get the bus on Junction Boulevard. And then when you get off down at Corona Avenue, you had about like 6, 7, 8 blocks to walk from there. So it was soaked anyway. So I never took the bus again. It was a total waste of time. We always walked back and forth. Newtown Place.
I can remember there was one time in particular that somebody said the wind chill factor. It was the first time I'd ever heard that. And we had to stop and go into a lobby of a building and warm up for a few minutes.
That's true.
Do you remember that?
That is true. Just before we got to Roosevelt Avenue, I think. Yeah, it was really, really cold.
Yes, it was before Roosevelt Avenue. We thought, how are we going to get on? And then what we have to look forward to, we're motivated to go to Newtown High School, What a motivation that was. Oh, my God. What?
Memories. Oh, God.
Memories are made of things like this.
Yeah.
Robert, what high school did you go to?
I went to Berner High School in Massapequa on Long Island.
Oh, okay. I thought you, somehow, I guess I had assumed you were from Brooklyn.
Well, I am from Brooklyn, but we moved to Massapequa in 57.
Okay. You were 10 years old.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, anybody have a first base story that we haven't covered or player you'd like to talk about? Ed Boucher was a strange cat. They did not make baseball cards. They took Ed Boucher's baseball card down, Topps did, because he had some allegations about fooling with some kids.
Ooh. I think I remember that, Ralph. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
long...
he had a couple of things. But there are Ed Boucher cards out there. In fact, I have one, 1957. Ed Boucher. And that was the first year with the Phillies. And he also, if I remember correctly, had a similar thing to Eddie Waitkus, where somebody shot him or stabbed him or something like that.
Oh, really?
In his earlier days, yeah. I'd have to further research that.
Well, we got some other guys
I remember when they got him, how I don't think he was an original. It was, I think when they got him, they got rid of Marshall, as a matter of fact.
No, the three of them, with Hodges, Boucher, and Marshall, were the three first basemen on the opening day roster.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
You know who? Kingman played some first base too in his
Dave
time.
Kingman, yes.
And Dave Magadan was pretty good. He's a good fielder anyway. I don't know if he hit
Art
much.
Shamsky played a little first base
in
those couple of years.
Ike Davis. Yeah.
There's another name of the past, Ralph, Rick Hersher.
Wow.
Rick Hersher. Wow. A shortstop? Wasn't he a shortstop?
He played everywhere. First base, second base, third base, shortstop. Kind of like Rod Kniehl. In fact, Rod Kniehl played a little first as well.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest disappointments was Mo Vaughn. Remember that?
Yes.
They got him.
Oh,
big slugger. Yeah, big slugger. Wow, what a bum he turned out to be.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Terrible.
He was one of the first of the bad trades that they made.
It wasn't good for L.A. either. The Angels got him, and he didn't do well.
No.
But Tony DeFrancesca is the first base coach of the Mets.
Right.
And he was Mo Vaughn's teammate at Seton Hall, which clears up an argument I had in my head. I couldn't think of Mo Vaughn's name on an earlier show. So we got to complete that little thing.
So you completed that thought now?
Yes, I have. It took 2 weeks. There are thoughts that are still not completed out there. They're just still hanging.
Hanging participles.
Yes. And more recent, Ralph, Lucas Duda. He was there for about 4 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Lucas Duda and
had one good
Ike
year.
Davis. I thought Ike Davis was going to be the next coming.
I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah, I remember one year he had 32 homers and 90 RBIs. And we're all excited.
Hey, you guys mentioned Dave Kingman, who they got from the Giants. When he first came up, he was an incredible stud in terms of power. He and could run no one could go from first to third as fast as he could. Once he got going, he had those long strides, and he was an enigma. I read something the other day that he played in a game with, must have been an exhibition game, but he hit a home run in Yankee Stadium that Mantle said that's the hardest hit ball he'd ever seen.
Wow.
Saw that on Facebook, a direct quote from Mantle about Kingman.
That must have been Mayor's Trophy game.
Yes, could have been. Could have been.
Well, he hit them very high, so they called him Sky, right?
Yeah.
Sky King.
He liked being called Sky King. He hated being called King Kong.
Well, Sky King on Saturday mornings had a little blonde niece. He drove an airplane.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, Penny.
Penny, yes.
Penny, yeah.
Name it and claim it. Name
there
it.
You go.
Penny, and she's with a wheelchair and a face mask now. She's 87 years old, and she still looks good to me. Beggars are no choices. That's what my grandmother used to say.
Oh, yeah. Take her up in the songbird, Ralph.
Are you breathing, Penny? Are you okay?
Oh, man.
All right, guys.
That's a show we'll have to do one time, Ralph, about Saturday morning shows.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we could go on for that on a long time. With
we
that
had
stuff.
great entertainment from Ed Hurley to what was his name? Jingles. Who played Jingles?
Oh,
on a show with the
Andy Devine.
Andy Devine had a show with the cat. The Magic Twanger.
Oh,
yes,
Froggy,
yes.
Froggy.
Yeah. Buster
Plunk your
Brown
Magic
shoes.
Twanger. Plunk your
And
Magic
they'd have
Twanger,
some
Froggy.
serious guy give a speech in a dialect. They'd say, "Well, the story of the whole American." You say, "You're a jerk," because he said, "I'm a jerk," and they go, "No, that's."
I remember that show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course the Lone Ranger. I don't know if that was Saturday morning so much. Maybe it was.
Yeah, it was Saturday morning into afternoon.
Fury.
Roy Rogers and Dale Evans.
Yes.
Fury, Rin Tin Tin. A lot of that stuff.
Wow.
All those years.
Fury, I hadn't thought about for a while. Black Stallion.
Right.
Beautiful horse.
Right.
Fury, My Friend Flicka.
That too, yes.
Okay, that's a whole nother series we got to start doing, Ralph.
All right. Next time we get together, it'll be Second Basemen or a bunch of those. 50 years, when you think about it, we've had some very, very decent players at all the positions.
No question.
Yeah.
Good and bad at all of them. So.
Yeah.
Yes. But mostly good, and it's going to be tough to come up with the very bad that isn't 62 or 63.
Mm-hmm.
Or 64 or 65 or 66 or 67. Never mind.
Second
right.
base.
Stay healthy, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, you too,
We'll
Ralph.
speak in a couple of weeks.
Be well.
Everybody pray for the best, or at least send out some good vibes.
Absolutely.
This is scary. And this is the candy store of sports, of radio. Was it Howie Cosell that said that? So I got to at least spend a couple of moments not thinking about impending disasters. So believe me, I enjoyed it. Thanks for the respite, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next time.
Sounds good. Okay.
See you next time. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Tyko, Marty Rose, Robert Cole, and the show is New York Mets in the Zone. We'll be back at you soon. Happy trails.
Bye.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.